Fatty acid C15 discovered in Navy Dolphin research linked to longevity. Amasuti Epoch Times reports, research shows that an odd chain saturated fatty acid, largely lacking in our diet for decades, has multiple health benefits. In 2001, Dr. Stephanie Van Watson began a journey that led to an unexpected discovery. She did it by studying dolphins. The U.S. Navy invited Van Watson, a veterinary epidemiologist and public health scientist, to help improve the health of their aging dolphins. In her work, she discovered that dolphins age much like humans and are susceptible to the same age-related conditions like high cholesterol, chronic inflammation, and even arthritis. However, not all the Navy dolphins develop these conditions, and she and a team of scientists set out to discover why. And using metabolomics, the study of metabolites in the organism, tissue, or cell, they identified a specific nutrient present in humans and dolphins that emerged as a key predictor of healthy aging in dolphins called pentadecanoic acid, or C15 for short. It turned out that this odd chain saturated fatty acid improves the dolphin's health and longevity. Intrigued, that Van Watson became a pioneer of C15 research. What is pentadecanoic acid? This acid is a 15-carbon long odd chain saturated fatty acid. It's found primarily in whole fat dairy and some fish, grass-fed meat, and plants. It's also in the milk that all baby mammals receive from birth, including humans. Increasing evidence suggests that pentadecanoic acid is essential, meaning that we need it to maintain baseline health, but our bodies cannot produce adequate levels. The intake of higher levels of pentadecanoic acid correlates with lower levels of chronic illness. And we said it's found in whole fat dairy, some fish, grass-fed meat, and plants. Now, studies also indicate that a deficiency of C15 less than 0.2% of total fatty acids, can lead to a condition called cellular fragility syndrome. Dr. Van Watson says this syndrome causes accelerated aging and subsequent vulnerabilities to metabolic, heart, and liver disease. The syndrome is reversed when dietary and circulating C15 levels are restored. Back in 2020, we published evidence supporting that C15 is not only a beneficial and active saturated fat, but that it met these rare criteria of being an essential fatty acid, that Watson said. At present, there are two other essential fatty acids, linoleic acid, an omega-6 fatty acid, and alpha-linoleic acid, an omega-3 fatty acid, which were labeled as such based on pioneering work done in 1929 and 1931, involving a series of rodent studies by George and Mildred Burr. Dr. Van Watson says there are different types of saturated fats, and they're not all created equal. And she said these odd chain saturated fats, and especially C15 is emerging as this Goldilocks saturated fat that's good for us. However, despite new research showing C15 benefits, long-standing beliefs about saturated fats being bad for us endure, as evidenced in the United States Department of Agriculture guidelines going back to the 1970s, which have repeatedly labeled them unhealthy, due to the perceived belief over the last several decades that saturated fats lead to an increased risk of heart disease and stroke. People eat less whole fat dairy, and C15 levels in our diet have declined. Studies in human populations included in a review by Van Watson have shown that people with higher levels of C15 have lower chances of developing type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, fatty liver disease, and non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, or NASH, a more severe form of fatty liver disease. A study published in Geroscience found that people in areas known for their long-lived inhabitants had higher levels of beneficially fatty acids, including C15-0. C15-0's odd chain structure is also significant. Researchers suggest that odd chain fatty acids are related to improved insulin resistance, decreased fatty glucose levels, lower incidence of type 2 diabetes, and reduced risks of cardiometabolic diseases and mortality. Conversely, their even chain counterparts could be associated with adverse health outcomes and increased risk of health disease, type 2 diabetes, and chronic inflammation. Notably, this association is complex and may depend on the specific types of even chain fatty acids, their dietary sources, and lifestyle factors. Since Van Watson and her team's groundbreaking work with dolphins, scientific interest in C15-0 has surged, and there are now more than 100 papers on C15-0 and its benefits. However, despite the increased research, few people have heard of C15-0. Concerning heart health, recent studies showed promising effects of C15-0 on cardiovascular health, and a growing body of research suggests that this saturated fatty acid may be crucial to maintaining long-term heart health. One study found significant benefits of C15-0, even compared to other fatty acids like omega-3. The study, published in PLOS ONE in 2022, compared C15-0 to EPA, that's eicosapentaenoic acid, a well-known omega-3 fatty acid, and 4,500 other compounds. The goal was to assess their impact across 12 human cell systems that simulated a variety of disease states. The researchers found that C15-0 was non-toxic to all concentrations tested, from 1.9 to 50 micromoles MEM, and had a wide range of anti-inflammatory effects. C15-0 had dose-dependent anti-inflammatory and anti-proliferative effects on 36 biomarkers across 10 different human cell systems, suggesting a broad range of health benefits, especially in reducing inflammation. While EPA and C15-0 had overlapping benefits, C15-0 had 28 additional clinically relevant activities related to its anti-inflammatory properties. C15-0 was also safer than EPA, which became harmful to cells, cytotoxic in 4 cell systems at higher concentrations. Notably, EPA did not exhibit anti-inflammatory activity. Longevity. A 2023 paper by Van Watson and Nicholas Schork, the scientific director for the National Institute of Health, National Institute of Aging sponsored Longevity Consortium, demonstrated that C15-0 may have comparable effects to well-known longevity drugs like rapamycin and metformin. The study, which used human cell-based assays, found that C15-0 activated AMPK and inhibited mTRO, key regulators of the human longevity pathway. C15-0 demonstrated 36 clinically relevant dose-dependent activities across 10 to 12 cell systems tested, including anti-inflammatory, anti-fibrotic, and anti-cancer effects, and its optimal dose, 17 mm. C15-0 shared 24 biological activities with rapamycin across 10 cell systems, making it comparable in effect. C15-0's activities were particularly pronounced in reducing inflammation markers such as MCP1, TNFA, and IL-10, supporting its role in managing chronic disease like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And dolphins unlock the secret to longevity for use through C15-0. We're now understanding that we can push C15-0 further and optimize it to actually help extend our health span and maybe lifespan too, Van Watson said. Now, contradictions. She says C15 is very safe and their supplement has generally recognized a safe status. Still, she always recommends that before people begin a supplement regimen, they speak to their physician. And this is on Collective Spark by Emma Suti on the Epoch Times. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. My Patreon account, the daily posts are 5 videos daily and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.